what Sanjeev has effectively done is got us all distracted by the bar. Right? So that's all I can look at all times. But I'll quickly get started. There are a few things I wanted to speak about in this presentation, but a lot of them are related to experiences that each one of us have as users. And when we look at supply chain, there's a very strong focus on operational efficiencies and costs. I'm going to touch upon a slightly different topic. I think it is becoming extremely current in terms of how organizations are looking at it, which is about the connected customer journey and how do you build that together. So this is something that is becoming extremely top of the mind, the customer experience, right? I love shopping. I order a lot of stuff online. And whenever I'm traveling, even when I'm traveling, I spend a lot of time at stores. I'm going down the street, I see something interesting, I stop and get into the store to see what's happening. Till Digi Yatra came up in the Delhi and Bangalore airports, you would land up at the airport early and you would spend time browsing through the retail stores at the airport. At least that's what I do. So I've really seen a lot of things that have evolved, that have changed over the last few years, right? And I wanted to talk about what experiences we've gone through and what is it that is happening in terms of resolving that customer experience. So when you look at it, 83% of the organizations, that's what Gartner says, are extremely focused on how do you build up a customer experience, right? Sanjeev spoke about the EI element, right? The emotional intelligence element. And while you have a brand and you have products that you are supplying to consumers, does the user actually connect to that? And that becomes extremely important. The other part is, do you, even during the supply chain process, know enough about the consumer? Do you know about their preferences? Do you know whether they would be at home at a certain time frame? Would there be someone at home to receive the goods if they are delivered at their home? What is happening in that whole ecosystem from the long haul, the mid-mile, and the last mile till the product reaches the door of the consumer? Right? Now, this is something that's extremely interesting, right? And I'm sure you've had enough instances where an empty package has reached the user, right? As I said, I love ordering, and I've actually ordered expensive watches online. But imagine if a nice box lands up at home and it's empty, or the watch is a watch made in China, right? It's not the watch that I'd ordered. And I'm sure this has happened a number of times, and there are methods that you're doing to fix that. The other part, cash on delivery, right? I'll give you an interesting example. My son, when he was 7 years old, got a prompt on Alexa which says, you ordered olive oil a month ago. Would you like to order? And he said, yes. So 2 days later, there is cash on delivery being asked for us for a 5-liter jar of olive oil. And my wife and I are trying to figure out, did you order? Did you order? And we thought it was fundamentally a scam, right? Someone just decided to drop olive oil at our door. We didn't really know what it was. And we were both trying to figure out because it was cash on delivery. And we were wondering, should we really pay that money? Where did it land up from? And the invoice said my name. So it was fundamentally at our place. But imagine, and finally my son said, Papa, I ordered it. And we're like, we need to switch the Alexa device off. We're going to keep it away. Right? And by the way, that's how tech is evolving. But it's interesting how things can happen. Now, imagine cash on delivery. And there are enough scams that happen like this, where someone lands up, says, you ordered cash on delivery. And in the middle of work, you decide to pay that money and figure out it was not something that you really wanted. This is the third part, right? I carry 2 mobile phones. I left them there. I carry 2 mobile phones, and I'm increasingly trying to segregate my 2 identities. Today, my Aadhaar is my identity. I spoke about Digi Yatra. That is Aadhaar. I can walk straight through in 7 minutes in Delhi from the gate of the terminal to the lounge. Right? Now, that's my identity. But imagine if that identity and you're supplying goods to someone's home is now available to the delivery boy. And I'm sure you've heard of enough scams that happen today. Imagine that person uses their identity and walks in through Digi Yatra into the airport and does a terrorist act. Who's going to be the one who's going to be hauled up? So these are things that are happening, right? That's one part. And this is privacy. We work with a lot of organizations, and we've had this instance when a lot of organizations saying, hey, it doesn't matter. Let the delivery boy know the number of the recipient. So you're fundamentally exposing that number. And again, the delivery boy calls up and says, "Sir, aapka saman reh gaya." I'll use an example. I ordered 3 years ago, before COVID started, I ordered a treadmill. It's been 3 years now. For the last few days, someone's been pinging me and saying, "Can you please give us a 5-star rating on Amazon?" And it's coming to me on WhatsApp and send me a screenshot. Finally, I had to tell that person, "No, and I'm blocking you." How did that person get my number? How did that person start harassing me and saying, "Please give us a 5-star rating on Amazon"? I'm sure you've seen that happen and you had complaints being raised. Now I'm trying to figure out, how do I go to Life Fitness and tell them, "You guys have my number"? Someone random has my number. Why are they calling me and bothering me? I have a water purifier at home. I get calls randomly saying, "Aapki service due hai." And I'm trying to figure out, why is this person really the person who should come and service my water purifier, or is there someone else? Right? That's again exposure that's happened in the ecosystem. How do you fix it? The government is doing a lot of work around privacy, right? And these are only going to become tighter and tighter. So how do you get these pieces to work together, right? And again, a few things that are happening, right? How do you ensure your deliveries are efficient? It's about retries. How does the product reach the consumer when they expect to get it? How do you have context across channels, right? So there are multiple channels that you can reach out to a consumer. You can make a phone call. You can send an SMS. Not sure how many of us really read SMSs other than for OTP, but you could also do an WhatsApp. How do you use the most efficient channel, and what time do you use it to ensure your cost across the supply chain end-to-end is minimal? How do you ensure your cost of warehousing, if there are retries, goes down, which means your retries should go down, right? And for whatever reasons, the last 2-3 years, we are all extremely digital in terms of what we want. So even when I go to a retail store, I expect the same experience that I get when I try to buy something online, which means the product should be available, right? And I'm also becoming more and more impatient, because click of a button, 10 minutes, something's at home. That's the experience that each of us demands, and we expect that consistently across all the channels. This is how the journey looks, right? And when you look at this journey, it's fairly complicated, the multiple stages that go through it. What you want fundamentally is advocacy. The last yellow part is what you want, where the users should be advocating your brand. And when you look back at it, it's the delivery piece when they actually experience your brand. Of course, the product, the usage is one part, but this is a delivery piece when they experience the brand. How is it that you ensure that along the cycle, and the multiple components that come into play, you are able to deliver that? Sorry about the font breaking up. I think the format here got a little screwed up. And there are many journeys, right? Every one of us is unique. Today, I may say, I'm okay if you make a voice call to me, but tomorrow, for the same product, same journey, same brand, I'll say, don't call me. And by the way, most of us as users do not want to be disturbed. When we have a problem, we will do what we need to do. We will choose the channel the way we'll reach out to you. But when you as a company need to reach out to me, don't intrude into my privacy. Don't make a phone call. Send me a message. Figure out a way to reach out to me that is non-intrusive, right? I'm sure all of you experienced that in your journeys. And there are infinite possibilities. So how do you cater to those possibilities? How do you ensure that you fundamentally have a personalized experience, but you still are able to deliver consistent CX? Right? That's what the fundamental challenge comes in. And this is what is happening today, right? It's all broken, right? A guy will call me, a person will call me and say, "I'm going to deliver this product to you." It doesn't happen. And I'm sure all of you struggle with this. Someone comes and says, you'll get a notification of the product could not be delivered because you were not at home, or the user did not answer the call. Is that correct? Right? And you would struggle to fix that. But I was at home. There was a maid at home. How dare you, the delivery provider, say that I was not at home? Is my reaction at that time. And I say, it's broken. I'll use another example. I ordered a pair of shoes, really liked them online, didn't like them physically when I saw them. I returned them. The guy came, picked them up, took them back. I didn't get a refund. I forgot about it. Then I suddenly remembered I didn't get a refund. I followed up, they said, we never got your shoes back. What I did was, I ordered another pair of shoes from the same brand. The guy came, I said, I want to return them. So I asked him, are you the one who comes and picks up the shoes? He says, yes. I said, did you pick them up last time? He said, I don't know. So I took his photograph. I said, take the return of these shoes. I got him to scan the process. I followed the whole process. I took pictures of the whole process. And then I sent it back to the company. But the company could not find my previous shoes. And someone came and picked up. Because I knew someone senior, I could go and argue with them and fight with them. And they finally refunded the money after 45 days of painstaking effort. It was 45 days of effort. I didn't want to spend that time. Right? And that happened because it was broken. Somewhere it was broken, and I as a consumer don't know. Return processes work very seamlessly, but it was broken. Right? So how do you fix that? Right? And these are the three elements that really matter. How do you connect and automate? I'm going to speak more about tech. We all get very excited about chat query, and a lot of these things would get resolved. How do you engage, like I mentioned, on the channel they prefer? And that preference may change based on the time of the day, based on the product, and on my mood at that moment. Right? How do you deal with that? And then how do you win consumers' trust again and again? There's one thing that's very difficult to overcome, right? Trust. If it's broken once, it's very difficult to regain it. So this is, and I'm going to go faster now, but the end-to-end journey, right? And the multiple elements that come into play here. You could have a bot that could notify the customer. The customer responds, the query is not being answered. Does it jump into a live agent who's chatting, or does it jump into a voice call that gets triggered off? We don't know how it gets structured, but that's something that is extremely, journey can be random, right? How do you engage across channels? So do you want to engage with them WhatsApp? Do you want to engage with them in Google messaging? Do you want to use voice? Or do you want to do a chat, a WhatsApp chat or a conversational chat? They could choose any of these, right? And you can't really force a user, because the moment you constrain them to a channel, they will walk away from you, or they will put a tweet, they will put a post on Instagram with your brand tag. And there'll be enough people who will stand up and say, I have also experienced this. This is what they do, right? Every time that happens, right? And then this, how do you engage across channels that are secure? Right? And I spoke about this briefly. As I said, your identity is now your mobile number, and that is the mode that we use to reach out to either the brand or companies use to reach out to individual consumers. How do you protect that across? Right? How do you ensure that the call that is coming is from actually a genuine source and not a random source? So this is something that's easily doable. How do you have a multi-provider architecture that then gives a seamless view across all the channels? And this is what a lot of organizations are moving towards, right? When we speak about bots, we get worried. Are they going to replace humans? My view is they're going to assist humans to be more effective. Right? I was talking about it earlier on that as we grow older, we are becoming redundant. So the only thing that matters is our ability to analyze the data and be able to compete with that bot, right? We were talking about it a short while ago. So that's the only thing that will matter. The younger generation will otherwise replace us. Fortunately, for now, they don't have the wisdom that some of us have with experience. But with things like ChatGPT, maybe they will even get the wisdom. So they will be able to ask a query of ChatGPT and say, what are the 10 slides we need for this presentation? And ChatGPT will build the slides for them, and there you are. Right? That's how presentations will get run. This is what Exotel does. So just a few minutes to talk about that. We run an end-to-end full-stack platform. We offer that across customers. We've been doing that through communication APIs. We've been doing that through a contact center software. We do that through conversational AI. And we ensure that your customer journey across multiple elements is stitched together very well. These are some of the brands we work with. There's a host of other brands that we also work with. These are the brands that we could put up here. And we work across multiple industry verticals, right? If you could just play the video. This is a product we launched yesterday. We just wanted to, hot off the press, talk about it a little bit. So if you could just play the video. Thank you so much. Like Radha mentioned, right, three things that matter: protect your consumers' privacy, ensure that you can reach out to them across the channel they choose, and ensure that you're automating constantly using the data to not only improve your cost, but also improve customer experience, right? So 3 takeaways. Thank you so much. We have a booth. Please do visit us. Our teams are there, and they can walk you through some of these elements of what we've already been doing with a lot of other organizations. So thank you so much.